Hey, what's happening everyone? Journeyman here, and welcome back to We March On. This is episode 7, I believe, and we're taking on Brighton and Hove Albion today in a South Coast derby. So, it's been a few weeks since the last time you joined us, and what a couple of weeks it has been. Let's take a look at some of those fixtures. So after the very disappointing last episode 2-0 defeat against Everton, we followed up with a very credible 0-0 draw at Huddersfield. Now, on first impression, it would look like a disappointing result, but considering the poor form we were on, a draw was actually pretty good, and we played Huddersfield off the park completely, so that kind of gave me a little bit of hope for the upcoming weeks. Then I followed up with probably the most impressive performance of the season. We demolished Leicester City 5-1. As you can see, 5 different goal scorers as well, which is very, very pleasing to see. Vida getting a goal, Gabbiadini getting his first of the season, Cedric, Romeo, and then Tadic completing the scoring. We didn't just beat them handsomely, we also completely played them off the park. It really was a complete performance from start to finish. However, I was disappointed to concede a goal in the 75th minute. Alright, and then we followed up with our thrashing Leicester with a 2-1 victory over Swansea. Now, Llorente actually gave Swansea the lead in the 6th minute of the game, but that was one of only 2 attempts on target for them as we went on to beat them pretty comfortably, despite the scoreline. Cedric getting a goal, and then Jordi Classy getting a goal in the 35th minute. Then most recently, we beat Burnley at their home ground. 3-0 victory here. Charlie Austin getting a couple of goals and Dusan Tadic scoring another goal in the 69th minute of the game. Alright, so going into today's game, we are taking on Brighton, who, by all accounts, have actually had a really good season so far. Chris Hughton's obviously done a really good job for them. They are 11th in the table. We are currently 9th after that pickup in form, and we'll have to climb above Stoke today to move into 8th position. Anywhere between 8th and higher is my goal for the season, so back into the race of things would be really, really good. Let's take a look at Brighton's squad real quick before we start the game itself. So top scorer for them is Jose Corrido, I think that's his name, but nevertheless the Colombian has played very well for them this season, scoring 9 goals in 15 starts in the Premier League, average rating of 7.31. Former Club Brugge striker, who else has had a really good season for them thus far. Let me see. Let's see, Shane Duffy has been a part of their team pretty much all season long, so been very good at centre half, average rating of 7.14. Let's take a look at the assists. Who's the most creative? Not too many standout players there. Jose Tomahemed, the target man, Anthony Knockaert, who's actually a pretty solid player, definitely one to keep an eye on. Then Theo Hernandez, who's on loan from Real Madrid, has also had a pretty good season for them at left back. Who else? That's really about it. There's some really good solid performances so far. But never mind. Let's go into today's game. And as I mentioned, we are sticking with this 4-3-1-2 formation. I'm actually going to make a couple of changes. I made a couple of changes for the last game, just to keep some fresh legs out there, because obviously it is December, so the fixture congestion is an issue for the team. So Vida comes back in the team instead of Yoshida. Lamina comes back in as a deep line playmaker. I'm actually going to keep Stephen Davis there. He's played really well in that role. And Tadic will obviously keep a spot as an attacking midfielder. Luan has been relegated to the bench, but for today's game, I'm actually going to play him ahead of Gabbiadini, who still only has 1 goal this season. Now, you notice that I am doing a poacher target man system up top there. Again, that's not really to Charlie Austin nor Luan's specifications, but I felt like this formation and tactic has worked for me in the past, so I'm going to stick with it. And if Luan can't adapt, then maybe I can move him on later on at a higher price. But never mind, he's a really good striker, and I'm sure he can adapt in the upcoming weeks. So anyway, let's get into today's game. Playing at home against Brighton, you got to think we are favourites, and according to the media we are, and I'm hoping with our run of form we'll go into today's game and we will beat them very, very comfortably. Alright, very early highlight here, less than 2 minutes on the clock. Let's see who it goes to. So here's Tadic. He's had a really good form the last couple of weeks. Jordi Classy gives it away cheaply, and it's a counter-attack opportunity for Brighton. Now, Hemed is through on goal. He's held up well for Van Dijk, who played in Brown to Gross at the edge of the area. Back to Brown, to Suitner. Not quite sure who he is. Ball is cleared. Tadic is a counter-attack. And here's Luan with a chance. Luan shoots, and that's a weak effort, but a good save there from the goalkeeper. Definitely was a clear-cut chance. Luan expecting to be a little bit better with that finish. From the resulting corner, looks like it's come out to nothing. Alright, Charlie Austin picks up the ball here. About halfway up the pitch, Tadic to Luan. He flicks it on. Luan does well there. Oh, what an effort there from Luan. Hit the top of the crossbar. And he was very unlucky there. First time effort, snapshot from Luan, but unlucky to not hit the underside of the bar and go in. Alright, 25 minutes on the game, and we're starting to take over a little bit more. Possession is really high, creating a lot of opportunities. We just need to put one away. Here's Lamina driving forward in the box, shoots, and a comfortable save there from Ryan. But still, another good opportunity. We are creating chances, which is very, very pleasing stuff indeed. Alright, halftime whistle has blown. It's still 0-0 despite our domination. This has been a little bit of a recurring theme about a month ago. Obviously, we managed to find the back of the net most recently. I'm going to make a quick change here. I'm going to bring up Stephen Davis and play Romeo instead, just because Romeo does protect the back line a little bit more, and honestly, he's a little bit on the creative side than Stephen Davis. Stephen Davis has plenty of energy, but Romeo does a much more solid role there. And that's the only change I'm going to make for now. Obviously, Gabbiadini is on the bench. I can bring him on at some point. And I also have James Ward-Prowse in case I need a more drastic change. But here's maybe a chance straight from the second half. Romeo to Luan, who scores. Get in there. Luan gets his 7th goal of the season. As I mentioned, Romeo, a little bit more creative. He got the assist there. Take another look at this highlight. So the ball goes out Vida to Romeo. Romeo picks out the run of Luan, and first time finish in the back of the net. He wasn't going to miss from there. 1-0 to the Saints. Here's another chance. 51st minute on the clock. Lamina to Romeo. Romeo shoots. Ball finds Bertrand at the edge of the area. Cedric gives the ball away cheaply, and then sets up a counter-attack here. He can probably find that Jose guy. He shoots, and it goes harmlessly wide there. But we got very, very lucky there. Defenders were completely out of position, and that one definitely goes down as a half chance for Brighton. All right, here's a chance. Knockhart shoots off the crossbar. Unlucky from Anthony Knockhart. That was a fantastic effort there from the free kick. Alright, 65 minutes on the clock. Time for our routine change. Let's bring off Charlie Austin. Let's bring on Gabbiadini in his place. Let's also change things up. I'll bring off Tadic, and I'll bring on James Ward-Prowse instead. James Ward-Prowse is a little bit more of a hard worker. He'll track back a bit more than Tadic will, and he can help out in midfield. Alright, 77 minutes on the clock. Let's see if we can get the second goal and kill this game off. Lamina to Cedric. Cedric pulls it back to Luan, who makes it 2-0. There he is. I talked about him at the start of the game, playing a kind of an unorthodox role for him, but he seems to be doing okay in today's game. Lamina found Cedric, who got to the byline, pulls it back, and Luan wasn't going to miss from there. He got a bit lucky here. Bruno actually smacked it into him, but they all count. 2-0 to the Saints. All right, 86 minutes here. Let's put the cherry on top of the cake. Cedric to Ward-Prowse gives it away cheaply there. Duffy makes a clearance, and once again we're completely caught out of position here. Bertrand is nowhere to be found, and our other centre half has gone up as well. And again, we got pretty lucky there. That's something I'm going to have to keep an eye on. If that's a reoccurring theme, I've got to adjust the way we play, or at least the instructions of Ryan Bertrand. He can't be out of position that badly. Alright, so here's Prowse to Classy, back to Bertrand, to Ward-Prowse, to Luan. Let's see what he can find. He finds Classy at the edge of the area. Bertrand to Romeo. Romeo to Lamina. Lamina plays it to Gabbiadini. He's through on goal. Hits a side net in there. Good chance for Manola Gabbiadini. Still kind of stuck on one goal. Obviously disappointing for him. I expected him to be in the teens before the end of the season. But right now he's at a really slow start. So 1 minute of added-on time left to play. It looks like it's going to be a very comfortable 2-0 victory, and it looks like we're going to leapfrog Stoke into 8th position in the table. Alright, so 2-0 finish there. Let's get the team talk over and done. Yet we're very pleased the way everyone played. Morale is getting much, much better. So that's very, very pleasing stuff indeed. So yep, as I mentioned, the result has leapfrogged us down to 8th place in the table, kind of exactly what I expected it to be at the start of the season. Now, obviously, there has actually been some transfer activity that I forgot to mention. Virgil van Dijk unfortunately came to me midweek and talked about the interest shown in him. He's wanted by Chelsea, Man United and Real Madrid. In particular, Real Madrid. He talked about if Real Madrid came in for a bid for him, he asked that I would accept it. Now, the issue with that is obviously Virgil van Dijk is quite possibly one of the best centre-halves in the world. I really, really want to keep him. However, interest for him is obviously naturally very, very high. And he asked me to accept a bid anywhere north of £40 million. We'll have to see what happens, see what kind of bids we get in, but I'm not going to sell him on the cheap if I can avoid it. I want to try and get as much money as I can for him so I can reinvest it in the squad. So obviously losing a player of Van Dijk's ability will hurt our back line. Our next best defender after that is going to be Mare, who isn't really the greatest in the world. Then we have obviously Jack Stevens as another option. Bednarek really isn't good enough. I'm going to try and move him on in the very near future, and nor is Gardos. So apart from outside of Vida, we're going to have to reinvest in another centre half, so keep an eye on that. So the next episode, we'll actually be in the middle of the transfer window, and that'll be up against Chelsea away from home. So we're going to do Crystal Palace, Arsenal, West Brom and Gillingham. We're going to simulate, or at least go play with those games off camera, and then you'll join us midway through the January transfer window. Again, I don't think any players will be coming in early on. I haven't got a lot of money to spend after I spent most of it on Luan and Vida. But obviously, if we sell Van Dijk, expect a lot of transfer activity and a lot of reinvestment in the squad. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope you guys are enjoying this series as much as I am. Of course, it's my favorite club, so it's an absolute pride and honor to try and get these guys or this team to glory. But thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying it. If you are, remember to hit subscribe to see more videos on me in the future, and I'll see you all in the next part. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.